been shown to strengthen your heart because your heart is a muscle. It prevents congestive heart failure. It prevents heart disease. It prevents diabetes. It does a lot of good things.
Does it make you better in bed?
Sorry.
What? No, it doesn't? Does it make you better in bed?
Makes you better in bed, yes.
Okay.
So
then,
you're going to try it.
Then
Hook it up, Doc. What's
up? One good
up?
reason to go. Hey, on the bulked up muscle thing.
Yes.
If way too much testosterone is not a good way to go, and we already know, all kinds of side effects to getting other, juicing in other ways. Is there a safe way to bulk up? If you just want to be a meathead and not kill yourself doing it.
You know what? Okay, testosterone. Just so you know, testosterone is a safe way to go, and we recommend that. Number one. Number two is DHEA. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Yeah.
DHEA is a building block of testosterone.
DHEA.
Can I get that off like an infomercial somewhere or what?
You can look it up on the web. You know what?
You can get it at GNC, can't you?
Yes, you can get it from anybody. GNC sells it. The pharmacies sell it. You can get it anywhere. You could go to a bioidentical person that will make it for you special. But it's a tablet, and it creates testosterone. And it's safe, and there's no side effects because it's a supplement.
But you're supposed to take a certain amount of it and not go nuts and just start drinking the whole bottle.
Correct, just like everything else. Everything in moderation, nothing too much.
And what about the average healthy male? Do they need testosterone, or should they use testosterone when they're working out, or are they probably producing sufficient levels?
Are you asking for a friend?
Yeah, because my friend was curious.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Studies have shown that over the age of 30, we start going down in our testosterone. I've got a lot of guys, 30s and 20s even, that their testosterone's low.
How's my number, doctor? You've seen my blood work.
Your number's good, buddy.
Is it?
Your wife must be very happy.
Whoa! All right, Phil.
Numbers are good. I won't tell everybody. Don't tell everybody what you're taking, Phil. But there's just
maybe I will pay that doctor's bill.
Right? Checks in the mail.
Phil's natural. He's natural.
That's good.
But there's too many good things about testosterone, and that's the thing. Back in the day, I think I talked about this on another one of your segments. But back in the day, in the 80s, when I was first a doctor, we said don't use testosterone. Guess what? It causes prostate cancer. Well, now we find that men that have low testosterone are more prone to prostate cancer. So how do you like that? So there's a little prevention there.
How do you like that?
I do. And I want one last thing before I let you go, Dr. Kurtz. I've got to run something past you because back in the 80s, before I met you.
Yes.
Because I did meet you.
This bird.
I met you in the 80s. It's exactly.
Are you really going to ask
I met
him about
Dr.
the
Kurtz
bird?
in the late 80s, and this was in the early 80s.
No.
Yes.
And a doctor that I was going to before I met you, when I showed up with pneumonia, while he was asking me questions about what I've been around, what I've been doing, he asked me if I had a bird. And I said, why, yes, I have a parakeet. And he told me that humans can catch a virus from parakeets, and it turns into pneumonia. And, well, he told me to off the bird, and that's the controversial part of today's podcast. I'm not asking you about whether anybody should kill their birds. But I am asking you if you know about viruses from parakeets and other small budgie-type birds passing that virus along to humans and it turning into pneumonia or something else.
In the 80s.
Yes. It could even happen now. It's not as common. It's called psittacosis.
Ooh.
And you can get that. And guess what? You could also get it from rats and rodents. You can get hantavirus. So there are many things that are given by animals to humans.
And hantavirus, from what I understood, was passed along from pooped dust, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Is it the same with the bird?
If you touch it, like say you have rat feces in your backyard and you touch it with your bare hands and you breathe it in, you can get hantavirus just from that.
So cleaning out the bird cage, crumbling up the newspaper with all the little droppings in there.
Right.
Is that
but we don't see that much of it. But we're not seeing that much of psittacosis. I've seen maybe 1 or 2 cases. That's it.
Yeah, Phil.
It's not that common. And we had a parakeet growing up. I had a bird too, and it didn't give us anything.
You didn't get anything.
I got nothing.
You didn't off the bird, did you?
I did not. Except our cat killed it. That was really sad.
Oh, your cat's horrible.
And the bird was like in its bird cage, face up, with its feet hanging up, and it had a slit across its neck.
We're going to have Gene come back to do more bird
Hear that?
minutes.
He got rid of the cat.
Yeah.
I got rid of the cat.
We got to get a cat lady in here now.
How long did you have to hold it underwater for?
No.
Clean that cat. Yeah, throw it in the water. Throw it away.
Can I ask a quick polio question? Because I'm really curious. I have an aunt that works for Rotary, and they're working on polio vaccines all over the world. And after doing some research, it seemed like polio is one of those diseases that's almost eradicated from the planet. Is that true, or am I off on that?
No, you are very true on that, but you want to hear something interesting. 1980, I came to California from Michigan with the Canadian health care, which is sort of like what ours is going to be like. they stopped giving out polio vaccines to the kids because they said polio is eradicated.
Oh, wow.
We don't need to do it. Well, guess what? In
guess
1981, there was an outbreak of polio.
Interesting.
Yes, so we need the vaccines. We need to have the vaccines.
Right.
Get your vaccines.
Get your
Mom and
vaccines,
Dad,
right.
Get your
Right.
vaccinated kids. All right.
Yeah, the kids need to be vaccinated.
Dr. Kurtz, always a pleasure to speak with you.
Always a pleasure, you guys. Take it easy. Hopefully, I taught you something today for a change.
Yeah.
We learned.
As
Don't
opposed to the
go
other way
on
around.
testosterone.
Yeah.
Testosterone, yeah, baby. Okay,
Yeah.
you guys.
Thanks, Dr. Kurtz.
Take care, you guys. Have a good night.
Yeah, you
Bye.
too. All
Bye,
right,
Phil.
so
Thanks.
enterovirus, Coxsackie.
Scary stuff, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it is. It certainly is. Well, see, hopefully they get a handle on that because if it spreads, I mean, it's isolated now, that polio-like thing. And if it starts spreading all over the place?
Yeah, until somebody in Nebraska comes up with it, and then it's like...
Then people will start panicking.
Do you think they quarantine, like once it gets to this level that they say you can't leave this area?
Oh, yeah, they put you in a bubble.
Well, what does it do for tourism? Because you hit on something. You know, parents go traveling somewhere.
Yeah.
They come home after, Nana's been watching the kid, and they hack on their kid. Kid gets paralyzed. And
they go overseas, and don't go to weird places if you have kids. What's the matter with you?
Oh.
Or just don't have kids.
That's it. That is one option.
What? Well, what's
Then you
gonna
can
happen
go
to
wherever you want.
What's going to happen to the human race?
Plenty other people have kids.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
let
see?
somebody else have
Remember
the kid.
we went back to that statement I said? People are idiots? This is what I'm saying? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, man.
All right, how about a palate cleanser then? I have more of these Disney things here.
Oh,
for you.
yeah.
Originally, Pocahontas. But Pocahontas was hot, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She was a hot cartoon.
Aren't all the Disney princesses pretty much hot?
More or less, but, Pocahontas was exotic.
Oh, I see. All right.
Oh,
and
okay.
athletic.
Yes.
I mean, she could dive off a waterfall
Right.
and survive. Anyway, she was going to have a talking turkey sidekick named Red Feather, who was going to be voiced by John Candy.
Oh, how funny.
But the character was dropped after John Candy died in 1994.
Wow.
That would have completely changed that film.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
talking turkey sidekick?
John Candy is a genius, by the way.
Yeah, sure. I agree.
Yep.
All right, Aladdin. Good-looking boy cartoon character,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Aladdin was originally designed to resemble Michael J. Fox.
Wow.
But when a Disney exec didn't think he looked attractive enough,
or how about
they redesigned him to look like Tom Cruise.
really?
So,
Isn't Aladdin
This is
supposed
true.
to be like an Arabian prince?
yeah,
or
exactly.
something? Well, why wouldn't
Like
you
Tom
model
Cruise.
it? Yeah.
the Michael J.
I
Fox
give up. I
character,
give
like,
up.
did the cartoonist, I don't know, have to have a shaky hand? I
No,
don't
that was
get it.
before any of
No,
that
it was
happened.
pre- yeah.
1990
Wow.
something. Yeah, this was
Cruise.
he was still on that TV show.
Which one?
Family Matters.
Yes,
Very
exactly.
Is that the one?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Look at that.
you'll like this one. Bambi was going to be way bloodier,
Really?
with the movie showing Bambi watching as his mother's carcass was dragged away, leaving behind a pool of blood.
Oh,
wow.
my God.
And Bambi already was upsetting enough.
Yes, because they
Yeah.
realized an off-screen death was traumatizing enough.
I agree.
Right.
Disney got it right that time.
Yes, and then
Did they?
Bambi's
so.
dad, he said, "Bambi, rotten."
Run, Bambi. You know what's so funny? I don't think I've seen any of those movies.
You have not?
wow.
I know the
I've seen
stories,
all
but
of
I
them.
don't think I've seen any of them.
Oh, you are missing out because they
I was
are
in the
all. I mean,
wrong-
every time I go to one of those in the theater,
I did see Snow
I'm
White.
a grown man going to a cartoon, and then when I leave, I said, "That's one of the best movies I've ever
Right.
seen."
You have daughters, so that's
See,
why.
you have
and
daughters.
I've had to see them.
You have
Right.
an excuse.
Well,
Right.
and look at what Disney was doing.
if I go in there, I'm a weirdo.
During that
Right.
period of time, they were just a wrecking ball at the box office, too.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't
You're not
going
to start singing now, are you? Wrecking Ball?
Let's see.
I
wish
know you
if
know
I
from
could just
Aladdin.
get one. If I could
know.
just get one to my head quick enough.
Believe me, I know that you go home and you work out too.
Prince Ali, Ali is
There
he,
we
da
go.
da 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 da. There you go.
Ay, ay, ay. Oh, no.
I gotta be honest
Stronger
with you.
than 10. Da, 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 da,
All right,
da,
all
da,
right, I'm not gonna
da.
let you hang out there on your own. The best song in Aladdin is where he goes, riff raff, street rat.
Yes.
I don't buy that.
Yeah.
Just a little
These two
snack,
boys-
guys.
And
They're
come on.
becoming
Da,
friends.
da, da.
They
Now
are.
God.
Jay is singing too.
All right,
outta here.
start talking to
yeah.
each other
I'm
about
outta
the
here.
genie.
You know what?
How
I was
great
out.
was the genie?
I was out last weekend and I actually hit him up. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? I wanted to see if he wanted to come out with
It
me
was-
last
Wow.
weekend.
It was at 12:30
Yeah.
It was actually at 1, 2, 3, 4, which which I found interesting. Yeah.
That's what time it was at?
And by the way, I was out and would have been down to, give you a call and see what was going on, but I didn't even, my phone doesn't even, especially with Twitter. I'm still getting used to the Twitter thing.
Well, we'll exchange numbers after the show, so that doesn't happen again.
Hey, can we hold hands on the way down to the car?
All right.
My goodness.
Guys, you've heard of crowdfunding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's all the rage these days. People with great ideas, some with bad ideas, but a great way to present it. They get money from absolute total strangers online. Total strangers who don't necessarily get a piece of the company.
And I want to know who these people are that put the money in, because it amazes me sometimes. Great ideas, they get crowdfunded. They get tens of thousands of dollars, but who are these people just throwing money in?
Yeah, it is interesting. Now, here's a new twist on the concept.
People have more of it than you and I.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, sometimes incrementally, they'll give $50, and okay, sure. They just want to see it happen. But there's a new twist on the concept, which is of particular interest to us at Phil Hulett and Friends. So let's bring on the founder of Podfund, Robert Becker. Hey, Robert.
Hey, how are you, Phil?
Doing excellent, thank you. Tell us, what is Podfund?
Podfund is a crowdfunding platform. We created it just a couple of months ago. It actually came to life in December of last year. It is a crowdfunding platform designed specifically for podcasters, for internet radio stations, and for internet video creators.
Why podcasts?
I have a bit of a radio background, not very extensive. I worked in radio for 5 years or so in the 90s. And back then, you obviously didn't have any other outlets. Either you were on the radio or you sat in your bedroom and talked into a tape recorder, which wasn't a whole lot of fun, as you might imagine.
That's how I got my start.
It was pretty fun.
That's how I got mine.
I created my own radio station
Robert,
at home.
It was pretty fun. The
did too.
Panasonic.
KROT, Rotten Radio.
There you go.
Well, when I was a kid, me and my brother, we had one called KRUD, Crud Radio.
Yeah,
Crud Radio.
That's right. You can spell all kinds of naughty things that start with a K. But anyway,
that's so cool.
I digress. So podcasts. So this was something. You're a radio guy, and you say, all right, there are a lot of podcasters out there, and they've got real awful sounding fidelity on their podcast, and they could probably use some money.
They work in radio. They probably need money.
They're talking into their cell phone and recording it. They don't have a highfalutin studio like this here podcast.
Right?
Not like this one. Nobody's got a studio. Well, yeah, other people do. People who've gotten funded through your Podfund, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it could actually go beyond equipment, whether it's just using the platform to raise money for to raise money for a meetup, for example. Anything related to a podcast, it doesn't necessarily need to be related back to equipment. Anything, as long as it ties back to your podcast, you can raise money on Podfund.
You're a little worried that we might someday meet our audience, Jen?
I know. He said meetups. I'm like, huh.
Yeah. I wonder.
As long as we do it from a bar, you'll be fine.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So
along with the bar.
How many have successfully raised money through Podfund?
We actually haven't launched yet. We go live with campaigns starting on Monday morning at 9 o'clock St. Louis time. We've got, in the hopper, we've got about 25 campaigns that are in progress.
Ooh.
Roughly 10 of those have been approved and are ready to go, and I know that there's a few more that are in the works.
What's the website?
The website is podfund.com. And it is live now to some extent. Like I said, we're not actually accepting pledges, and you won't actually see any live campaigns yet. You'll see those on Monday morning.
All right, so describe a campaign. I mean, no doubt you've seen these. You have them in the queue ready to go. And you don't have to give away one that's in there, but give us what are the basic elements of a campaign when somebody is going to go out there and beg for funds?
Well, I think the most important piece to this, and it kind of stands to reason when you talk about what we're trying to do and who we're trying to help. If we're helping podcasters, you want to actually give your fans and perhaps anyone who might stumble upon your campaign, anyone who might have an interest in helping you out, stands to reason you might want to appear in a video so they actually know who you are and see who you are. The business of podcasting is obviously about getting your voice out there, getting your face out there if you do video, whatever. So a big piece of this is creating a video, 2 to 3 minutes long, describe who you are, what you're doing, explain why you need the money and what you intend to do with it, and be sincere and be yourself. I think that's the biggest piece to this. One of the things that I've encountered with getting this platform off the ground is running into a couple of campaigns that where text-based only, and those are campaigns that aren't going to be very successful, but that's why we require